Man, aren't you a Dolphins fan, Diddy? Man, you see y'all hired a coach.
You know, they're just so damn dysfunctional. It isn't even funny. All right, that's better. Twitch slobs is just, oh my god, everything's such a pain in the ass. All right, we ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, you still can't hear the music, but we'll fix that eventually. Someday, maybe. All right. And we go live in 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to Joystick and Mouse. Video game news reviews for all you filthy casuals out there. I'm Don. I go by Diddy in the gaming community. With me this evening is J Dimes.
What's going on?
So how you been doing, man?
Pretty good. Working, building new shelving.
I hear that for a comic. Okay, so how many comic books do you have that you need new shelving for?
I have about, I don't know, about 4,500 comics.
Wow.
And they're in about 12 boxes.
Like
And
bankers boxes or
no, so they're called drawer boxes, and they're called that because they come with like something that looks kind of similar to a banking box without a lid but longer. And then these drawer boxes have shells that you can kind of pull them in and out like a drawer.
Oh wow.
So
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
It makes it easier to get to things. But the last rack I had said that it would handle enough weight, and it failed miserably. It didn't fail catastrophically because it didn't break. But I remember Vanessa and I were at her cousin's house one day, and I'm looking at Facebook, and in one of my comic book groups, there was a guy talking about waking up and coming out, into his room or whatever, and all of his comics were like all over the floor.
Oh man.
And he had the exact same rack that I did. But it had like broken catastrophically and just sent everything flying.
I can imagine that would be horrendous to have comic books everywhere.
So the shelves had started to sag in the center, and I was like, we're gonna need to do something different. So I bought this shelf is supposed to take 1,000 pounds per shelf.
Oh wow! So did you go to not Home Depot? jeez.
I did go to Home Depot.
Oh, I was thinking Costco. Have you ever been in Costco and they got those like steel
Yes.
shelves with like the 3/4 inch board that goes on it? That
Yeah. I did look at one of those, but the shelf that they had was too long. Even this one that I bought is probably about 5 inches long, 5 or 6 inches longer or wider, I should say, than the previous one. That one that they had at Costco would have been too big.
because I've thought about getting those for the garage because those are really nice and they'll hold just about anything.
The thing I don't like about the one at Costco is that it's just the racks and they give you the 3/4 inch board. I don't think they give you the wire brace underneath of it.
Oh.
So this one has wire shelving. But what I'm gonna do at some point when the price of plyboard comes back down is I'm gonna cut some wood plyboard sheets to fit in there.
Oh yeah, that'll make it
and brace it a little bit more. Yeah, but I think we should be fine. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Oh my God, we went to the other home renovation center the other day, and I was flabbergasted. So we went to Reshop, which is like the Habitat for Humanity. When they pull out old cabinets and stuff, they sell them, and you can just go in there. You can just go in there and buy like old cabinets and stuff. And so I've
never heard of this place, Reshop.
Yeah, it's Reshop or Rehome or something like that. So I went in I paid like $25 for these 2 cabinets, but they didn't have any shelves in them. So I went to Lowe's and I was just going to get some plywood and oh my God, I couldn't believe what a sheet of plywood cost. I was like, I don't need shelves that bad.
Yeah, plywood, everything's expensive right now.
Holy crap.
Everything prefab is pricey.
Yep, I hear you, man. Yeah, fortunately, computer parts have started to come down a little bit. I finally finished putting mine back together after catastrophic water cooling failures. But
yeah, listen, we're gonna stop with this water coolerness, right?
We're no more water cooling. I'm done. I did it. I had my time. I'm back to air cool.
I would just like to say, years ago, I said this was a bad idea.
You did.
Water and computers, I don't believe go together.
Well, it's funny because it still has a semblance of water cooling in it. Because for the processor, I got an AIO, which technically is liquid cooled, but it comes self-contained. You don't put any liquid in it. Got liquid in it, and it's a radiator.
I don't know if I trust that either.
Supposedly they're pretty good. And the one I got from Corsair, it gets really good reviews. So hopefully, finger crossed, no problems with that one.
Yeah. I don't want to hear about you having to take your thing apart again.
No taking it apart. It's there for as long as it keeps on running. With pretty lights. It has all pretty lights. I posted it on Twitter. People like the lights. So, alrighty, let's get into the podcast here. So, you get a development studio, and you get a development studio. Everybody gets a development studio. At least that's what it felt like. Felt like an Oprah Christmas special episode lately in the video game world. Let's dig into the latest studio acquisition and see what that means for gamers, workers, and the industry as a whole on this episode of Joystick and Mouse. So, Tim, why don't you take the first one and let us know what you think about
this week. Wow. Sony purchased Bungie for $3.6 billion. This comes on the heels of the Take-Two buyout of Zynga, and of course, the purchase of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. What does this mean, and how does this affect us, the gamers, and what does it mean for the industry at large? And also, just to point out, Zynga, their big property is Farmville, which is a massive mobile game. Um, you know, I was not very impressed with Sony buying Bungie. And I think a lot of it had to do with that it just felt like Sony had to do something, right? Um, I don't know if buying Bungie moves the needle for them.
It's funny that you say that because I had almost exactly the same reaction. I'm like, why? What possibly does that buy Sony? And it was almost like, well, Microsoft bought somebody and Take Two bought somebody. Oh, we have to buy somebody too, and like they don't have the cash that Microsoft does.
Yeah,
They don't
3.6 billion is a lot of money.
they don't have the cash that Take Two does. Um, yeah, it's like you just spent $3.6 billion for a company that you don't really need.
Here's something I wondered, and I haven't heard anybody bring this up, but I wonder if this sale was more about Bungie than it was about Sony. Like, was it Sony buying Bungie or did Bungie want to be bought?
So, do you think they need like the influx of money to?
I think they might need the money, they might need the infrastructure. Maybe uh Destiny's not really selling enough for them. Uh so they might need the resources. I mean, you know, Bungie when they were making Halo, that was fully covered and done by Microsoft, right? They didn't really have to. I mean, they weren't owned by Microsoft, but Microsoft was paying for Halo.
True. I guess Microsoft was backing the development of it
Right.
through Bungie. Yeah.
And now they struck out on their own and they're making their own game. And I just wonder if are they moving enough units? I don't know that many Destiny players.
I don't know very many Destiny players either. And really that's Bungie's only real
It's their only game
that they're doing right now.
Yep.
Yes, they have the experience of stuff of Halo and some other smaller games, but yeah, that's really all they got. And we know that Destiny is not becoming a Sony exclusive. They can't. They I don't think they'd ever do that. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they were hoping to get out of this.
Yeah, so that's it's funny you say that because Sony could come out and say, "Oh, well, we're only going to make Destiny for PlayStation." But then you run the risk of Microsoft being like, "Well, we're just going to make Call of Duty for Xbox." And I don't think that's the bear that you want to poke.
Yeah, that's not the hill you want to die on. That's
right.
That's
so yeah, I don't know. What will be interesting is whether or not Sony will continue to support cross-platform play, because they've been notoriously been wishy-washy about that. But I believe Destiny plays cross-platform.
Yes, it does. Yep.
So will they keep that up?
They can't. They can't make it exclusive because they'd lose 3/4 of their base.
Well, no. I don't mean make it exclusive. I just mean will they continue to allow Sony players and Xbox players play together?
Oh, if you're playing on Xbox, you can only play on Xbox for Destiny. Yeah, wow. Can't imagine. So do you think that this hampers the creativity? How do people like Steam stay in business now? I mean, because they're sort of the de facto indie distribution platform, and man, if all these companies, I'm not sure how they're going to compete.
I think Steam is in a unique place where they know, and everybody else knows, that they are the big marketplace. But they're having their um competition too with Epic and
Yeah,
I guess really Epic.
well, it's sort of Microsoft. I see where I think maybe Microsoft Game Pass might start to pull in some of those. I know that Amazon is looking at that also. Amazon's looking at their what the hell's the thing that they just started. I know. Well, okay. So being a developer, I get a lot of these developer newsletters, and I know Amazon just put out something about their development engine, that they were looking for people to do games, that they were going to sponsor development of those games in their platform.
Listen, and yeah, and they can afford. I mean, that's the thing about them.
I can't remember the
They
name
can
of it.
really afford to do whatever.
It's not Elevator. It's something like that, though. Their game development platform. Yeah, I this concerns me that all the game companies are getting bought up by the four giants, right? The four big ones. There's, it's Tencent and Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo. And
I don't mind it though. Like, these aren't hostile takeovers. You know what I mean? Like,
they're not. But
these developers are selling because either they want the money or
well, it's exceptionally hard to develop a video game today.
yeah,
It's very expensive, and if you don't have a hit, it's really hard to make your money back, to make anything at it. So
yep.
Yeah, these companies can afford to have one that doesn't hit quite as hard, but then you get their backing, which makes it a little bit more accessible and gives it a little bit more hype coming out, and maybe more people will try it. So yeah, I guess I can see both sides of that coin there.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it'll be okay.
I think it'll be okay. I'm hoping that we don't lose, the Goose Games and the Stardew Valleys of the world because
I think the bigger issue would be if they were buying these companies and then also taking the content away from other providers. But that doesn't seem to be what anyone is doing up to this point. I guess that doesn't mean that they won't do it, but it doesn't seem like that's what's been done yet. So yeah, we'll have to see.
One of the things I do like about it is it does seem like they're letting the development chops alone.
Yeah,
it seems like, all right, you guys go keep doing that game, and we'll check in every once in a while, and if you need something, let us know. Which I think is a good thing. But that sort of leads into, there's been a whole bunch of news lately about what the gaming industry video game production industry is actually like. So now that these companies are buying into the smaller developers, will that change anything? Will it change the way that games are being developed? Will it change some of the movements that have been happening? Because there was an article this week, how Raven Software, which is a subsidiary of Blizzard Activision, Microsoft, not Microsoft per se, but they did some things to try and neutralize the forming of the union, and because it was okay. So back up. Raven Software, their QA department unionized last month. They put in a formal request, filled out all the paperwork with the state, and formed a union of the QA workers within the software company. The company then came down and said, all right, instead of being one organization under this company, we're going to spread you out throughout the different teams so that the quest designers would have their own QA, the, graphics department have their own QA. This is classic union busting techniques. Yeah. So I wonder if some of the larger companies getting involved will change what's happening within these companies and the movements.
I don't know. In larger companies, I mean, it almost feels like it should do the opposite. Like it should galvanize more people because you're now putting what was a very kind of a smaller group of folks into a larger community of people to pull from for those efforts. I guess it would really depend on like what has been the desire for unionization at these other companies or in the industry as a whole, right? Like we know, and because we know at Blizzard, it came about for specific reasons having to do with, culture and the treatment of employees, right? But if you're working at Microsoft and you're not really feeling that, right?
Microsoft, though, notoriously is anti-union.
Well, listen, I don't know of any companies that are pro.
That's true too. That is true. Yeah, it's not cost effective for them. It's not doesn't make them lean and agile, and in today's world that is the way it is. Agile is king.
Nobody wants to sit down and collectively bargain anything.
Right. Yeah, ask Major League Baseball. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if I were an employee in one of those companies, would I maybe take a step back and say, let's see how this goes? The articles are fascinating. They'll be in the show notes. You make sure you go read them. These two articles about the companies and forming the unions and organizing the employees it's fascinating reads. They're really, really interesting. So yeah, I think they're good. I'm not sure. I have very mixed feelings about this one because on the one hand, I am all for inclusion and treating your employees right, and having been on projects where it's not been done well and been on, where you didn't have any tools and where you were under a deadline all the time, and then on other projects where, you had all the support and all the tools and, oh, you need something? Sure, we'll get that for you. Yep. I've been on both sides of it as a developer, and I can tell you one is a whole lot less stressful than the other.
Right.
So I hope, my hope is that a lot of, because this isn't just Activision Blizzard. They're the poster child for it because that's who the suit was brought against. But this is everywhere.
I mean,
we've heard about this at Rockstar. We've heard about this at Riot Games. We've heard about this at, Bethesda. We've heard about this at, many, many, many companies throughout the industry. And I think any male-dominated industry, I think you might find some of that. But it seems to be even more prevalent in the gaming industry.
Listen, I would say remember the debacle that was LA Noire.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. I've saved your note.
She apparently thought I was talking to her.
Even she thinks that this is bad.
I think there are some things, and listen, in some ways, Activision and Blizzard have kind of debunk this, but I think there are some things that by and large are just not allowed to occur in large corporate spaces.
Right.
Activision Blizzard have kind of I mean, I guess, they're not of the size of a Microsoft or Google. I mean, they're a big company, they bring in lots of money, but I guess corporately they are not of that size. Or Sony for that matter. So I think there are a lot of things that probably went on there that just would have never happened because those companies are so big, so publicly traded, they're so blue chip, they would have just never allowed it to occur. They wouldn't want to deal with the PR fallout. Like the PR fallout in and of itself is terrible. I mean, think about Amazon. Amazon has had all that bad press about unionization and the way those workers are treated. But it has only gone so far, and still, I don't think any of it sounds as bad as what has occurred at Blizzard.
That's true. And Blizzard isn't that big of a company. Blizzard's 10,000 employees or something like that, if that, and that's worldwide. I mean,
I feel like maybe they make a disproportionate amount of money to their employee size.
They're not a large company. I mean, Microsoft is, Jesus, they've got to be well over 100,000 employees. So, hopefully some of that stuff trickles down. Even with like Bungie, Sony's a huge company. I can guarantee you that stuff doesn't go on at Sony. It wouldn't be allowed. Like you said, the publicity is bad. They won't put up with that. And sort of on this thing, are we really surprised that a company run by Kotick tried to bust up a union?
No.
I mean,
no.
Yeah, that's the one that really sort of surprises me about the whole thing is he gets to stay.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole different issue of how someone with that attitude and that perspective got into that job and was allowed to stay for as long as they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whole different thing, but it's a mess. They have a mess.
It is. Yep. Hopefully that it gets cleaned up. I hope that this is the beginning of the change.
Yeah.
Just like the Dolphins. Hopefully this is the beginning of the new order.
Nah, I think y'all hired a coach that's not going to be terribly great, but we'll see. You never know.
Man. God, those guys, they just kill me.
Should have kept the coach you had.
I personally believe so, but I don't know.
These owners do what they want to do.
Yeah, they do. All right, man. You got the next one?
Yep. Halo is getting a TV series, and it should be glorious. But why do we have a non-blue Cortana? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
First, why did it take so damn long to get a Halo?
Listen, I am still not convinced that show is going to happen.
Really?
Nope.
I mean, we had 8 seasons.
We've been talking about a Halo TV show for a decade. We have been talking about this thing for a decade. It's on Paramount Plus now, but I feel like at one point it was supposed to be on some other cable channel. There was supposed to be one that was like a streamable show on the Microsoft, like on the Xbox. Who knows?
I remember that. I remember them saying that they were going to put out shorts.
Yeah, wasn't Tony Scott supposed to do one? Wasn't Scott Brothers supposed to do it? And then there was something about Spielberg doing one.
Spielberg signed on for this one originally. And is
he not doing this one anymore?
He's not doing it now.
Yeah, see, it's even in the article. Microsoft has been talking about a Halo TV show for a decade. For a decade. So I
Right.
will believe it when it happens. I tell you what I'm surprised at. That I well, I know three of the actors that they have said, or at least I know them by name. Maybe I'll know some of them when I see them. But I am surprised that this is a show where the actors are skewing as old as they were. I would have thought
Hmm.
you might go with a younger cast and do younger versions and give yourself a little more runway. But I mean, Pablo Schreiber is not like he might. I guess he's probably in his mid 40s, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
well, I
I
mean,
love Pablo Schreiber too. He's been in
yeah,
two things that I really got. God of the not God of War, American Gods. He was in the American Gods TV show, and he was also in Den of Thieves, which I think is a very underrated movie.
I haven't seen Den of Thieves. I
Den
hear
of
it's
Thieves is
good.
really good. It's like Heat on speed.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean,
Oh, he's 43. Okay, he's a little older than I thought. Um,
isn't well. So it's weird because Master Chief has been around forever, right? But
yeah.
is he a little older, a little more grizzled, a little more, you know, been through the ringer? But I'm a little surprised that I agree with you that I'm a little surprised that the other actors are skewing a little older too.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
listen, I love Pablo Schreiber. I love Elle McPherson. I think she played the wife on Californication. So
right, yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Pablo was also in 13 Hours, which was a great movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have not seen that.
13 Hours is the movie about Benghazi.
Actually, yes, I have seen it too. Yeah, I have.
Great movie. Great movie. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh God,
I'm here
yes.
for it.
Yep, I will absolutely watch it. It looks so good. Now, the big kerfluffle was that they showed a picture of Cortana, and actually, a lot of people didn't catch that that was Cortana because she wasn't blue. because because in all the games, she's a hologram. She's not really she doesn't project as a real person. She projects as a hologram all the time. So I'm a little surprised that they didn't do that and they made her look more like a real person.
Yeah, I didn't see where they showed her. Oh, oh no, no, no. McCullen is a scientist. I'm playing the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't gotten to the part where they show Cortana yet.
It's near. I mean, they showed.
Oh yeah. Well, so all right. Here's what I think is interesting. They do make her look kind of like she does in the game. Like she's not a human like walking on the floor. It's like she's still like a floaty
Right.
kind of haloed
Sort of,
entity.
and they do make it fuzzy and
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But she's not blue.
yeah.
You know, she looks like she's of Asian descent.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Oh my god,
yeah,
Twitter lost its freaking mind.
I listen,
Are we
that doesn't
surprised that
bother me.
Twitter? Are we
Well, Twitter
surprised
loses their
Twitter
mind about
losing their
everything.
mind about anything?
You know, this is what I will say. If it's a show where they're trying to get like a PG-13 rating, one of the reasons they may not have gone for the full blue is so that they don't have to argue about with people about whether or not she's clothed.
Oh,
Because in this preview,
yeah.
you can clearly tell she's wearing clothes. And in the video game, that has I remember I had a Funko Pop of Cortana sitting on my desk at work.
Mm-hmm.
It was blue. And I remember like somebody came in and made a joke about me having a naked lady. on my desk. And I was like, it's Cortana.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's sort of like crap. What's the X-Men?
Oh, Mystique.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
sort of like
yeah,
Mystique. You know, everybody sort of
yeah.
says
Is
the
Mystique
same thing.
wearing
Is
clothes?
she
I don't
wearing
know.
clothes? Is she not wearing
I don't
clothes?
think so. I don't think she's actually wearing clothes.
Yeah, and I think Cortana's always sort of been the same way. Did they just forget to program that or what?
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not mad about it. Listen, I'm much more concerned about whether this show actually happens than I am about her being blue.
I don't know. They put the trailer out during an NFL football game. They sort of have to do it now, don't they?
That's true. That's true. That's a lot of money to put out for a show that's not guaranteed. So yeah, the show's coming. When is it coming? Who knows? But it's coming.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. I mean, God knows when we'll actually see the episodes, but who knows? So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's not terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's got time for terrible TV shows.
No. We have enough of those going on. All right. So, and another little small story. I forget what I was looking at. I was reading about something else completely having to do with Japan. And I ran across this. It's an end of an era of sorts. If you've ever been in an arcade, some of the greatest arcade games were created by Sega. Sega is getting out of the arcade game business. They're not.
That's craziness.
They're not making. It's not that they're going to stop making games. They're going to stop making the arcade cabinets and the games themselves that you put up in an arcade. And I can remember a lot of quarters went into Sega games when I was playing them. I don't know. I don't even want to know how many quarters I put into Duck Hunt. I mean, just endless hours playing games like that. Especially the racing games. There's racing games were fantastic.
It's an oddity to me, though, because they're exiting in a time when I feel like arcades are coming back.
I was thinking that too. It's like arcades are starting to make a comeback, and actually, places like Dave and Buster's, and there's a new one over by us called Funland, and
Funland's not new though.
Well, I know there are more of them, but they just opened this one not too long ago.
We used to do Will's birthday parties at Funland down in Central Park in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I feel like they're making a comeback now. The games are bigger and better, and and they're immersive, and you get surround screens and that kind of thing.
But Sega makes those style cabinets.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because they had Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt was used to be able to stand in it, and you had like 3 screens around you, and you picked up the rifle, and that was.
There's actually a great Halo game that they have at Dave and Buster's, and they might have it. There's a new arcade that they opened up at Potomac Mills, and I can't think of the name of it, but we've taken Will.
Right, yeah.
And they've got and the funny thing about that place is amazing. They have a full bowling alley in there.
Oh, really? Oh,
and a full arcade, yeah.
Cool.
And they've got a section of the arcade that's just like the Japanese style stuff. So like all like the dancing games. And they serve food. And it's I mean, they have like karaoke rooms that you can rent out. It's great. And so I just find it odd. I need them to put out before they go. I need them to make a Crazy Taxi cabinet.
There was another other great game.
Crazy Taxi is like maybe my favorite video game of all time. Or at least from that generation. When I had a Dreamcast, there was nothing I liked better than just running around playing Crazy Taxi. If they put it out for the Series X right now, I'd go buy it.
Wow. what was the? Oh, it was. Did they do Cruisin'? They did Cruisin' USA, didn't they?
No, I don't think Cruising USA is theirs. I could be wrong. Let's look it up. No, it's Cruising is a Midway game.
It's Midway. Well, okay, so there are the two big companies, right? It was Sega and Midway and Banco. Banco.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. I mean, those were the
Or
big
Bandai. Is it
Bandai,
Banco or
right,
Bandai?
Bandai. Yeah, those were the big arcade companies that. Oh God, I spent so much money. Oh, they did Frogger too. I forgot about that. Yeah, Frogger is Sega.
Oh, I didn't know Frogger was Sega.
That's what it says. Turbo. What else did they do? Zaxxon. Oh my God, we spent. I so I remember one evening standing in an arcade. We spent hours and hours and hours playing Zaxxon. Well, it's a great game.
Fantastic. I think I've ever played that.
Yeah, they got out of the Sega got out of the. They used to have arcades. They used to have. So Sega used to run like full arcades, like the buildings and all that kind of stuff. And I remember going to a Sega arcade. I don't remember where it was, but I remember going into one of those. But they got out of that, and then they were just doing the cabinets. But they sold all that off this week to another company. So yeah, that's really sad. Another Japanese company. Who are they?
Was it Geico?
Geico. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
which is the company that they sold the other portion to, right? That's who they sold the whole arcade experience to.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with things like Dave and Buster's and stuff starting to become more popular, because people are looking for that experience, right? That's what they want. They want to go have food and hang out and have a good time and drinks and adult beverage or two. And that's what people are looking at. So yeah, I'm a little surprised they're getting out of it, especially in the Japanese market. But it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. There's probably a fair amount of maintenance cost that goes along with being in charge of all those cabinets.
Well, yeah, so it's everything. I know you've been in arcades where like you'll walk in and there's at least 2 or 3 machines in every arcade that just
don't
aren't working, or the screen's broken, or the button doesn't work, and that stuff's expensive to keep parts and get fixed and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can understand. If it's just not cost effective, they're not going to do it anymore. All right, well, we do a video game review for you. I picked up a game I wasn't going to, and then I couldn't help myself. And
it was that Target run, wasn't it? It was Target.
It's always a Target run. It's always a Target run that does you in. I picked up Pokemon Legends. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Arceus. I don't even know.
I've heard Will say it because he bought it, but I couldn't tell you anything past that.
So, in a normal Pokemon game, you run around and you battle Pokemon to collect them. And you do the same thing in this game, sort of. But it's more of an arcade style game, which is really interesting. So, if you're running around and you run into a Pokemon, you actually have to throw the ball at them. You have to target them, select the ball, and throw it at them before they run at you. and there are Pokemon that are hostile that if you can't run past them. You have to either defeat them in battle or distract them somehow. There are Pokemon that will run away from you, so you have to sneak up on them before you throw the ball at them. It's actually really fun. I was absolutely amazed at how fun it is, and it made it much more engaging than the normal I'm going to run around in the grass 37 times until I get run into the Pokemon I want to battle. You don't have to battle them if you don't want to. You know, you can run around the grass but you can see them out in the wild. It's really a lot of fun. They redone it in a way that makes it much more arcade style, and I think it's for the better. Really, really enjoyable. I had a great time playing it. I think I would give it a solid 7 or 8 out of 10
Okay.
because it's a lot of fun. The story is a little. It's it's a Pokemon story. You're the new trainer. You fell out of the rift in the sky. It's the whole thing.
Right.
But that's never been their big thing with this. It's got to collect them all, and this makes it a lot more fun to do that. So
Will was shocked when I told him I'd never played a Pokemon.
yeah, I was a little shocked when you told me that too. You've never played a Pokemon game.
Nah, it's just never been something that spoke to me. The closest I got to buying a Pokemon game and playing was that fighting game that they came out with for the Switch.
Oh right, yeah, sort of
Was like Pokemon Poke EX or some
yeah.
Pokemon EX, something like that. Yeah, this just never been my thing. I don't know. But I get the fact that they're beloved games, and the thing that always impresses me about Pokemon is that people are perfectly willing to go back and play like the old stuff. Like they will play the stuff that is still on like the DS.
Absolutely. I have a DS. If I go on vacation, that's always one of the things I take.
Is your DS?
Is the DS? Because
I have a DS somewhere,
just in case. And that's one of the games I always take with me. Is Pokemon.
This is a DS Lite. I felt like I had a regular DS too. Maybe Will has a DS, and then Will has also absconded with my 3DS, and I have no idea.
I have the what's the one? Mine's Blue XL. It came in an XL version. That's the one I got.
I also have one of these.
Well, the Game Boy Advance, yeah. Those were. Yeah. Man, does anybody? You know what? Nintendo has always made the best handhelds.
They have. I need you to buy a Steam Deck and test it out and tell us if it's.
Why do I have to buy the Steam Deck?
I don't know. If I buy a Steam Deck, Will is going to run off with it, and I'll never be able to tell anybody if it's any good or not.
Oh, well, there's that.
You have no children in the house to run off with it, unless you think your son will come and abscond with it.
I don't think he'd take it anywhere. I might not
just
see it while he's here.
He just might sit on the couch and play it all day. I mean, that's fair.
Eat me out of house
that
at home
is
for the
fair.
2.5 hours that he's here. But
oh. It's worth the time. It's worth the time.
Absolutely.
You know how my parents fixed that? They just don't keep any groceries in the house. So I can't show up and eat them out of house and home because there's nothing to eat. They will go out and bring food home.
Do they go out all the time?
They go out to eat a lot more. I mean, and I get it. It's just the two of them. There ain't no need in, cooking a bunch of food for just the two of them. But they finally, after probably 3 years of needing a new TV, not a new TV, a new refrigerator.
Oh yeah.
They finally bought a new refrigerator. It was so bad that like we were going out to eat on for Christmas because like there was no need in cooking food. Like where were they going to put it? They didn't have a fridge that was suitable for it. And we finally were like, yo, y'all need to buy a new fridge. Buy a new fridge. And they finally did. Bought a new fridge. So there was some food in the house the last time I went home. Because they now have a proper refrigerator.
That's terrible. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. That's a show for us. If you'd like to reach out and contribute to the show in any way, please email us at joystickandmouse@gmail.com. Go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Be sure to subscribe. Hit subscribe when you're over there. Go to shop at joystickandmouse.com. Get one of these exceptional shirts that we have out there.
One of our fancy shirts.
Our fancy shirts. And as always, you can find us at www.joystickandmouse.com. And until next time, J-Nams.
Take it easy.
And we'll see you later, folks. Have a good one. And the music won't play.
Oh no, you have to put it in post.
I'll put it in post. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm really interested. I would like to play a Steam Deck. I'd like to try it out.
Yeah, I would too. It was little normally. So